I was scared to death. And the only way that I felt to save her, the first thing that came to my mind is give her CPR.
And all I could do was think of, we have to save her. She's all we have. She can't go now. She can't leave me now.
My oldest daughter would tell you now she never thought ever she had to use CPR. Pretty amazing story. My daughter's is very amazing.
She always keep herself uplifted, happy. She's a happy person.
Carolyn, if I could come up with a word to describe her, I would say probably vibrant. She's lovely. She's got a perpetual smile on her face, and she warms whatever room she enters.
She's like the hero, our superhero, Supermom. She does it all.
It started out, I was having chest pains, pains up and down my arms. About 3 times we went to the doctor and never diagnosed that I was having a heart attack. I did an EKG. Went home, laid down. My daughter told me she knew something was wrong because the next day I didn't get up and clean up anything.
I knew something was strange because she wasn't there at all downstairs.
That night, the last thing I remember, I went back in my room and I was in a sitting position, like from to sit down on the side of the bed, and that's when I had it, the heart attack.
I heard a big boom. I hit the floor. That I could tell that didn't have no life in it. And then I began to hear my sister scream. So I jumped up and I go in there and my mother is laying face down.
When I fell face down. And I'm a tall woman. And she would tell you with the God's strength and grace of God, she had to turn me over by herself to do CPR. She knew it was a heart attack. She knew. And she went to work.
So I told my sister to call 911. And I began to work and do CPR. My mother taught me CPR like 12 years prior to that. And I had never performed CPR. But that night I began to pray as I was doing it. And then my mother began to start making like a hissing sound of breathing. And then I felt like a faint pause. But I was telling her to stay with me. And within 2 minutes, I turn and I look and I see the fire department standing there inside of the room with me. And I began to continue to pray and I moved out the way. And they brought her out. And when they got to the porch, she flatlined again. So I had to work on her again on the porch. They got her stable again. And they moved her.
So I met Carolyn in the intensive care unit, and at that point, she was a few hours from her cardiac arrest. So she was in a coma and attached to life support measures. So we know from studies that if you can lower someone's core body temperature, they have a better chance of surviving the event, and they have a better chance of meaningful survival down the road. So you have a few hours after the event occurs to implement something called the Arctic Sun, which is therapeutic hypothermia, or us lowering her body temperature for the purpose of preserving her brain function.
Dr. Angelo Padula is awesome. He's my hero.
At the time my mom had her heart attack, I was 15 years old at 10th grade. And she always said, I want to be there to see you graduate. I'm going to be there to see you graduate.
She started exhibiting, signs that she was going to do well. She was waking up, she was following commands. She wasn't quite herself in speaking with her daughters, but she was improving, vast amounts each day.
It was the best thing ever to witness. Seeing my mom back up, talking, being able to look at me, feel me.
Our life was given back to us, not just hers.
So you're going to be scared. I've been doing this for about 10 years, and whenever you're in a room and somebody has a cardiac arrest, the first instinct is always, oh my God, this is terrible. But you have to do something to overcome that. You have to act. And CPR is the best thing that you can do, because we know from studies that early CPR done by bystanders, not trained medical professionals, is one of the most important, if not the most important intervention to save someone's life. And chances are that life that you're going to save is a loved one. You know, if her daughter didn't overcome this tremendous fear when she sees her mother go down and start CPR, we wouldn't be having this discussion.
I'm alive today because my daughter did CPR and she saved my life.
CPR is something that everyone should be able to do. You never know when you will have to perform that on someone.
You got kids? Teach them CPR. It'll save your life one day, you never know. Or your neighbor, your friend, your grandmother, you never know.